So, Neverness to Everness finally released their C in beta test, which, all in all, it could have gone better, but it definitely showed some promise. It had great things like animations in the cutscenes that really made you feel like you were watching a real anime instead of just people with straight stone faces, right? It really showed a lot of promise and a lot of care that they were willing to put into the game. Um, Unfortunately, that didn't really translate to other portions of the game. And before we get into it, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this content. But the like I said, the cutscenes they are excellent. They have great animations. They really help you immerse into it, but it doesn't translate to things like combat. The combat feels very still, feels very bland. You do a 1 2 3 hit combo, use a skill, switch over, repeat the same process. It doesn't feel very um, like there's any room for more combos. Doesn't feel like there's any room for diverging from the path of just use 1 2 3, switch characters 1 2 3. There, it doesn't feel like there's any variation in what you can do, and that really needs work, especially with an open world game like it is. It has to compete with things like Wuthering Waves, Genshin Impact, even Xenoblade Zero. You can't have bad gameplay when you're compared to these three giants as it is right now. You can have the best animation in the world when it comes to cutscenes, but you cannot lack on the gameplay, especially when in reality you could copy paste that gameplay. You have a benchmark of where you have a benchmark of where you can possibly start from. So you know where you at least need to be at a minimum. And I don't know if it's just because it's like a beta playtest or whatever, and they're still working on the finer tuning of the combat, but they definitely need to improve upon that when it comes to launch time. Otherwise, it's gonna flop hard, and I hate to say it because it really shows promise in what it can be, what they want the world to be, and everything to that effect. And it's unfortunate. The next thing I would say that we could talk about is probably the exploration. The exploration, it feels good in some areas and bad in other areas. Of course, it's gonna have some bugs and everything like that. There was a clip of Mr. Pokey. Got stuck at the border, and then he got out of his car, and another NPC car pushed his car off of the border edge, so he can't touch it anymore. So things like that, it's understandable. Like I said, playtest. You gotta have some leeway on things like that. You can't really fault it on bugs like this when they're still working on it. But in other cases, it just kind of feels a little empty, in some ways. This might change, but as it stands, we can only go off of what we've seen and what has been shown to us through the different content creators that played the game so far. I unfortunately have not been able to play the game. I can only watch what other people have watched and make my deductions that way. It really needs to be brought to life a little bit more, and I wish there was more interaction uh, with the environment. I know you can't really uh, be completely like GTA and just run people over, but at least a little bit of collision where you're not just phasing through them like ghosts. At least have them like bump around or something like that. Maybe ragdoll a little bit and then get up. Something to make it feel like when you're driving, it has a little bit more impact than you just being alone and everybody being like holograms or ghosts. That would make things a little bit better and a little bit again make it feel more alive, make it feel like you're not just the only person there and everything's just a figment of your imagination. Um, but I feel like the go the cutscene again. The cutscenes look amazing. The atmosphere, when you start to go into like the creepier areas, look fantastic. I think the bosses are fun and imaginative. There's some goofy bosses when you're shrunken down and you fight a giant version of your friend. I think that's very cool. And then the scary like pitcher boss. I feel like they have a very good range of diversity when it comes to bosses, and not just like, hey, this is the same boss, just same model, just three different skins. They really have like different unique bosses, which is a total plus, and I'm really game for it. But it really depends on what they can improve upon by the time of launch. I'm sure they're going to have another beta. On the English side, they're probably going to improve what they can on the CN beta and everything to that effect. And then if they do ever release an English beta, hopefully I can get in it and play test it with everybody else. And I really hope it is they improve upon what they have, and they put a little bit more love into the combat, so it's not very straightforward and linear. You have some options. I like the fact that in the combat you can't dash all the time and spam dash it. You get rewarded for perfect dashes. You get your dash back on perfect dashes. If you waste a dash, you only get 3 charges and you gotta wait for it to recharge. I really love that aspect. It puts a lot more concentration into it. Um, but they really need to work on the combat and exploration, since that's really the whole draw to it. I wish they had uh, some sort of placeholder for the gotcha system at all, because there is currently no gotcha system in the game whatsoever, so you can't even try and see how it is or what the rates are or who's going to be in the system, everything like that. You're kind of just getting every character, which I understand, but I really wish they would have given you the characters in a placeholder gotcha system, so you knew maybe what their intros would be like or something to that effect, a little bit more, because it felt like even though it is a beta, it felt like it was very lackluster as a beta. It felt like really the only thing they worked on were the cutscenes, and they focused on that a lot, mainly to drive people in, um, which is totally fair. You want to bring people in as fast and as collective as possible. I just wish that after the draw of the cutscenes, everything to that effect, they had something to back it up. Because at the moment, it really doesn't feel like there's anything else going on besides the cutscenes. So I hope with each iteration we can see a steady improvement on. The cutscenes seem fine. They seem golden. I just wish they focus on the combat next, and then the exploration, because the exploration can always be fixed later on. But the combat as the core system really needs to be worked on and perfected before anything else. And that's what I feel like on the my thoughts on the NTE beta. I feel like it's going really good, and it if it keeps working at the pace it is and keeps steadily improving, I feel like it's definitely gonna be a contender to dethrone some gotcha games right now. Because I feel like if it works on its combat and it really makes it crisp, it really makes it intuitive and everything like that, it could rival Wuthering Waves right now. And I'm a big Wuthering Waves fan, because I feel like it's just very smooth. I love the characters, love the combat, I love the world, everything to that effect, especially with the new update coming out. But depending, NTE might be a top contender going on, guys, and we got to keep an eye out. We cannot completely dismiss it. I know I have some criticisms about the game, but we cannot completely dismiss the game yet. We need to hold out hope and make sure that the gotcha community is great again. We need to make sure and support the developers so they know that they're going in the right direction and not just criticize them only. We need to give a feedback. We need to say, hey, we love what you're doing, but improve this part or you're going to have a hard time. We can't just denounce it because there's some things wrong with it. They just need to fix a couple things and they will be a great game. And they have other things like I forgot what they changed their name to, but also Project Mugen uh, in the wait, and I'm sure plenty of other gotcha games waiting to come out. Gotcha games are only getting better. They're finally realizing, hey, if we put some real good gameplay into this, the gotcha system is will just naturally flourish. They're not just everybody doing turn-based games or anything to that effect. With Genshin Impact coming out, people are doing a lot more open world gotcha games, and I think that's great. We just need to wait and see what they learn from this CN beta for Neverness to Everness, and see what they evolve upon, to see what they improve upon, and hopefully they improve in the right ways, and they really make this game something that we can really dive into, because I really would hate to see this game with the beautiful cutscenes that it can produce and the cool looking characters that they have shown off already. I would hate to see it fail after all this. But that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. I try to read all the comments I have, and thank you all for watching. I truly appreciate it. Have a good one. Peace.